Hello, Monica here. I know that it feels like the world is on fire, and it is. I've been truly grappling. Grapple has become my favorite word. Grappling with how to talk about it, how to start up discussions and ask questions without creating a combat zone. But I'm not going to do that today, as much as maybe some of you might want me to. I'm over here just grappling away. But today I would like to talk about what I got going on, what I have going on with my ebook. So I have an ebook, an electronic book that it's like a PDF format that you'll be able to download. It's called The Holistic Healing Guidebook for SIBO, IBS, and Gut Dysfunction. And I also have a podcast that I am creating that is accompanied to it. It is an accompaniment to it. But this resource is not irrelevant to what's going on. It's very relevant to what is happening. We keep hearing this word unprecedented, and that is a truly great word to describe our world. Our world is wild right now, and what is wild about it is more than just what we're immediately seeing on the news. There is so much there to unpack. We have created a society that has normalized things that are directly harming us. The food we eat, the way we eat, what we drink, the water we drink, the habits around technology, the normalization of being stressed out, overworking ourselves, what we prioritize, our connection to nature. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And that's the root of the problem here, is all of these other factors that are contributing to our health. And it's a discussion that we're not having. In the gut health community, which is a great community, and it's growing bigger and bigger because we're seeing people with more gut dysfunction and more digestive issues, younger and younger, across the board. But what we have a tendency to go to is that treatment pathway, like what's the best supplement, what's the best protocol, what's the best restrictive diet, and coming up with these, a kind of a chronological protocol that is very heavily focused on supplementation and diet, which is great. We need those two things. We need to utilize those two things appropriately. But at the same time, there's all of that other stuff that I talked about that is influencing our health. So even if we are following a protocol to a T with our supplements and our diet, or at least restrictive dieting, right? Removing our inflammatory foods, sticking with low FODMAP, taking our digestive enzymes, our probiotics, even if, our antimicrobials, even if we're doing all of that, if we are not considering the quality of the food that we're eating, the macronutrient ratio and the macronutrient quality, meaning healthy fats, healthy proteins, healthy carbohydrates, if we're not drinking good water that's filtered and clean, if we are completely stressed out and we don't understand how to manage that, then all that stuff, it's not really going to do much. It might help you to a certain point, but then you might hit that plateau. And this is for everything, not just gut health. This book is really for everybody, but I am catering it to the gut health community because that's where my story is, and those are the people who I help in my health coaching business. So I wanted to create an outline, a resource that outlines all of the other factors that we need to be aware of. And once you're aware of it, it becomes aware of you. And you start seeing it everywhere, and it's just a truly educational resource that's as concise as it can be, with graphics, with bullet points. I'm trying to get to the point as much as I can so you just get the information, and then you can listen to the podcast to hear more about each topic. I tried to get into the nuances and answer some questions that I know some people may have when they read it. But the point of the resource is that it's centralized, it's in one place, and you have that for you to come back to again and again, and to almost think of it like a checklist where you want to be addressing these different things one at a time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's more about sustainability and that long-term health than it is about the quick fix, right? Or that symptom treating method that we want to stray away from. My motivation for this was really, it stems from feeling like I have so much to talk about and I don't even know where to start. Because when you start asking questions like, well, what's the best probiotic for constipation? You know, what's the best diet to go on if you have this, this, and this? And when I go into these Facebook groups and I see these different questions being asked, it's great. You know, you want to know the answer to your questions. You want to know what the best thing to do is. But number one, our bodies are all different. So what worked for somebody else may not work for you. And number two, I just keep thinking that we're missing this bigger picture. We're missing that there's a lot more that we actually can control. And the key to controlling our health is informing ourselves. I'll say that again. The key to controlling our health is informing ourselves. And so this resource is information to help you figure out where to go, what to do, where to start, and how to lay down that foundation that is truly education, and then build from there. And so it is relevant to what's going on today because we are all health oriented and we need to be aware of some of these harsher realities that are bombarding us daily. And you may not be able to change things right away. You know, you may have a lifestyle where you're eating a lot of processed foods or you're eating out all the time. You're working like crazy. You have a lot of responsibilities on your hand. There's no way that you can start to tackle this stuff, you know, right away. You may be living that kind of life, but what I want you to do is just use the resource as, you know, keep it in the back of your mind, so that you can try to tackle things whenever you can, one thing at a time. And you want to start with what goes in your body, meaning food and water. And those are things that I try to outline in the Holistic Healing Guidebook. So stay tuned for that. I'm launching it in the middle of August, as well as the podcast. And this book and resource is part of a bigger discussion that I'm going to keep having, and I'm going to transfer it almost into another podcast that I'm grappling over. But basically, I want to bring these realities to people. I want people to become aware of some of the stuff that is going on this deeper level that is truly impacting us on an individual place. You know, really, it's impacting us all individually, directly. It's not just something that happens, you know, that you're kind of watching from afar. This is something these are all things, and I have this long Google Doc of tons of topics that I want to talk about. And so if you are somebody who either has a podcast, wants to do a podcast, wants to be interviewed, has a certain topic that they feel very passionate about when it comes to health and the realities of health, meaning this could include, you know, those government institutions. It could include the politicization of science. Right now, I'm really researching genetically modified foods and the history of that. I'm getting into, you know, Rockefeller, the Flexner report. And if you have no idea what I'm saying, then definitely tune in, because these are history lessons that we need to be aware of, because, like I said, they truly directly impact us. And the more that we know, the more control we have. And also, I want to find that community of people who also feel the same way, and they're passionate about educating themselves about health and modern health and trying to navigate all of that, because the more that we can come together, then the more we can come up with better solutions. So thanks for listening. And 10 minutes. Wow, I really rambled on forever. But if you made it to the end of this, thank you. I appreciate that. If not, that's okay. You wouldn't even know you're not here. So thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.